My name is Damali Fraiser. I have been married for 18 years to my loving husband, Elvis Fraiser. He just celebrated his birthday on Monday, so I have to shout him out.
Yes.
Happy
Yes. Happy
birthday
belated.
to the
Yes.
man.
Yes.
And I have two daughters, 18 and 14, 14 turning 14 this weekend. And my business is Lift Off Strength and Wellness. I am a
Hmm.
kettlebell nutrition coach, an all around awesome person.
True story. Love that.
Yes, yes, real talk. And yeah, I've been in kettlebells for probably going on 8 years now. Started kettlebells from Muay Thai, actually.
Okay.
I started competing in amateur Muay Thai in my early 30s. I
Get
came to
it.
Muay Thai at 32, had my
Mhm.
first fight at 33, spent 3 years competing in amateur Muay Thai. And
Okay.
at my age and at competitive level, I was looking for functional training tools and I immediately fell in love with hardstyle kettlebells, and never stopped after that point, throughout multiple
Fascinating.
injuries, etc. So I'm in
Hmm.
Brampton, so we're not too far apart. We should see
Really?
each other in the real life.
I didn't know
Real
that.
life. Yes, I'm in Brampton
Wow.
North,
Okay.
and I've been living in Brampton for, I want to say, 14 years now. And I was living in Mississauga before that
Okay.
and downtown Toronto before that. I went to university at U of T, University of Toronto for material science and engineering. So yes, my background is in solid state chemistry and technology.
It's like
And
me too.
I'm a
No.
mix up. I'm a black woman who does a lot of things.
Yes. Yes. Like a Renaissance woman. That is I'm still at Brampton. Sorry, you lost me at Brampton. I thought you were like in the States for some reason.
I talk to a lot of people globally, but
Yes. So
I'm in Brampton. Yes, hop
so for the
skip.
people who are watching, that is like depending on where you're in Brampton, like 15 minutes away. Like I'm in Mississauga, like right at yeah, like in Meadowville, like on the west side of
Oh,
Mississauga.
okay,
So real close.
okay. Well, my husband grew up on that side, Meadowvale side, actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, yeah. I went to Lord Park Secondary in Mississauga,
Okay.
and I am North Brampton now
Okay.
at the
I
Fork's
went
Head.
I went to Meadowvale, so we were like rivals in high school. Right. Right. All
Lord
right. So
be
what we're
rivaling with
doing like a
everybody,
little
but they a lot
I
of white
it's
people in
true.
that school. Sorry.
True
So
story. Yeah. I think I knew the only other black family that went there too. So too funny. So we're just doing our little catch up here, everyone. Like, we'll talk shop
yes,
in a minute. Like,
yes. You said we're gonna
actually,
have a relaxed conversation. I see
this
some
is
folks
that's a
who joined, some of my people.
yes,
Hey, hey, hey. Lovely.
yeah.
Okay.
So, but what you said earlier, just about like what you put out there, and I love the post. I just did a quick repost of about picking yourself. You've had to pick yourself up. Like, I'm proud of you. Like I love posts like that because it's like you're controlling the narrative
Mm.
in a powerful way. You're not just leaving it out there for people to think, oh, that's just a perfect movement. Everything's great in her life. You're connecting with people who may not be feeling like that. They're looking at you and thinking like that's such a clean movement or that's such a great thing or that's such a positive person, but they may not be feeling that within themselves. So you control the narrative with posts like that. So that's why I always have so much time for them. Um, so yes, I just wanted to say that. I like that.
No, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting because some folks, would not necessarily interpret me as a private person as I share.
Hmm.
Um, but it's actually a fraction of what we be going through. And just
Yes.
to like give people an ounce of like just a little saying, like, this is humanity. This is how we move. I really do believe, like, as I train and I move through this world, I train to live and to continue to live fully. And that
Yes.
full perspective includes heartbreak and loss and trauma and this experience. So I think it's important to stop for a moment. I'll also post something funny too, or something I feel,
Yeah.
or I
Yeah.
will be like a cut eye, like so. a little bit of it all. You're going to get that full experience when it comes to social media with me. I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to practice a little bit. Yeah, all of those things.
Powerful. Damali is a powerful body activist. Her narrative is always empowering. Each are a revolutionary act.
Thank you, friends.
And so, and what can you talk about Fitness for All Bodies and your connection with
Um,
Coach Justice and everything there?
so I saw Coach Justice speak only like, was it, geez, friend, it was like maybe a year ago, maybe just over a year ago.
Really?
And immediately, um, like his voice, his impact resonated with me directly. Um, and it was in a kettlebell certification. So I'm always, like every year I do a few, personal development, professional development. I'm constantly a student and looking for
Yes.
what my education should look like. But in that moment, my education was really seeing someone speaking with a powerful voice from a lived experience, and also seeing that like just speaking your truth in that kind of way has
Yes.
such a broader impact. So right away I said, Justice, hi. I have so much time. This is my capacity, and I would
Hmm.
like to give some of my time to your mission and to your work. And we just hit it off right away. So we started working on brown bag conversations, which are spaces for Black and Indigenous fitness instructors of all
Yes.
modalities, just
Yes.
coming together in community to really share our truth and our perspective in the fitness industry, and then just continuing to work and support their work, Fitness for All Bodies. I always say kettlebells for everybody.
Hmm.
But it just matched up with where I
Yes.
am and my purpose here.
Absolutely. It's just sharing your visions and locking arms with people with that vision. So, and just
Mm.
saying, please tell us about your activism with Black women in Canada, some of the panels on loss and your nonprofit work.
He be interviewing me.
Right? I'll sit back. Like,
What? Okay, so no, yeah, I think that through training, whether it was Muay Thai or kettlebells, um, I just deeply connected with women whose experience brought them to that same place, whether it was
yes.
strength training or martial arts.
Mhm.
And, to be very honest about it, it's like most of us came through looking for weight loss, looking for changes to our bodies,
Body
but
transformation,
our
right?
sense of self was
Hmm.
elevated in that process.
Yes.
And, come to reveal the real and real unfortunate experiences of many of the Black women and the instructors around me, whether it came to pregnancy and infant loss, multiple miscarriages, domestic violence and abuse. So, really just coming to a place where it was like, if I want to be authentically present in my modality of teaching, which is kettlebells, I need to
Yes.
see that full person. If I want their
The full
well-being
person.
elevated, I need to
Yes.
see that they're bringing all of that to the table at the same time. So we did
Yes.
host a panel this year with a number of Black speakers and experts on pregnancy and infant loss from an intersectional lens.
Mm.
So we had authors with personal experience. So shouts to JL and
Yes.
Kenya, so the queer birth worker, so from a trans experience. That was a powerful event. It's hard, it's hard to talk about, and not everybody is ready or will be ready to share their
Right.
personal experience.
Hmm.
But as instructors and trainers, it's really important that we start to see deeply into that experience and understand
Yes.
they're bringing that to us every single day.
Hmm.
When I was training in Muay Thai, it's very customary for someone to like take a pad, a Thai pad, and whack you on your gut, right? You're
Yes.
training to be hit.
Yes.
It's a fact.
Right.
But someone who's been through multiple losses and these kind of experiences, that is a traumatic and triggering event to have someone bring harm to your midsection,
Yes.
knowing what you've had to go through or what you wanted to experience to bring life into this world and haven't been able to do. So
Yes.
bringing those two things together, it's it's gut wrenching for us as trainers, and sometimes we don't want to
Mm.
confront that feeling, but
Right.
to actually feel it, empathize, and bring that forward as you
Hmm.
train, coach, and guide the people in your community. I think it's so important.
You didn't use the word hold space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that holding space, or is that not really capture all that you're saying?
Um, it's part of the experience.
Okay.
Part of the experience. Um, I think that when you are holding space for another human being, in some cases, you're doing so in a way that you can't really empathize with their experience, or sometimes people have, unfortunately, unconsciously separated themselves from, I can't understand that. So I can be here for you, but I can't understand that. Whereas I'm
Yes.
asking you to be intentional about trying to feel the feel. Feel the feel, understand what it is, and try to understand it. Try to actually come to grips with the fact that if there's a gap in your lived experience, doesn't mean you don't
Yes.
have enough humanity to feel it. And it's painful. They don't want it
Yes.
either, but come through and actually empathize with me in this moment. Not just sit here, but really come through.
Yes. That takes courage too.
Something, some heavy bells, traded.
Right.
It's gonna be like a few swings.
Yeah. 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 Well, what I was saying right at the open, like, for a colleague of mine who's opening a business and felt intimidated because other people have more experience and pedigree and lineage and years and money and resources, and then she landed at she just loves people.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something to be said for being consumed with a love for people that will take you through those uncomfortable situations to just seek to understand someone in their moment. And if that requires that we just listen, we listen. That means requires we absorb an uncomfortable conversation, we do it. If it means that we just program the next exercise and let them just sweat it out, we do that. Like, I mean, that just having a love for people should compel you to figure out what is right in each situation with each person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I've just been musing on that.
Yes.
um,
So you said I could ask you some things
Fire
because
away.
I'm curious about the world of Pilates, and maybe I haven't heard your stories and how you got there. Because let me tell
Mm,
you, most of the Black women I'm training, they don't know nothing about Pilates.
yep.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Well, I started in fitness. Uh, Before that, playing, football and playing sports, and I found that I just discovered this Pilates class. I had, back injuries all the time when I was playing football,
Mm,
and I went to a chiro, and the chiro was like, "Well, stop playing football, and you'll feel better." And it's like, well, as a 17, 18-year-old, that's not going to happen.
mm,
So I found this Pilates class. I was going to this group fitness class, and the more I was going to Pilates, the less I had to go to the chiro. So my 3 times a week became twice a week, and then once a week, and then every other week. And I realized at that point, early in the game, that Pilates was prehab instead of going to a chiro for rehab.
mm,
Right. So, and that's not knocking chiros, because there's some fantastic chiros, like the guy who works here, for example, when they understand that relationship of body, nerve, joint, that's a different conversation than this old school guy had.
yeah.
But anyway, so I got into Pilates at that point, took a course just out of my own special interest, kind of went on with my life, got into fitness. I did my master's in social work and started working in the social services area. But always loved taking kids to the gym.
Mm,
Eventually got into personal training and decided that, I have my master's, I can fall back on that. And then never went back. That was 2002. I've been in fitness since.
mm,
Um, But while I was doing fitness, I kept coming back to this Pilates thing, and then I had an opportunity to do my full certification through Peak Pilates. Understand, like you see behind me, like the tower and the reformer here and the mat work and all the different pieces,
Mhm.
and just dove deep on that. One, because I knew how good it was for me, the postural stuff and the strength and the mobility. And then two, because I recognized that there was no men teaching Pilates. I didn't know a single guy that was teaching Pilates. So I figured that would give me a competitive edge as a personal trainer. And two, there's no brothers teaching it at all, right? So there's no black people that haven't seen that at all. So I thought this definitely gives me a corner on the market as a personal trainer to know that I have this whole Pilates thing in my hip pocket. This is my whole separate toolbox besides fitness, right? So some people have kettlebells or TRX or boxing or whatever. Like I now have Pilates. So that was my rationale for getting into it. And then fast forward another 5 years, I just decided to do an apprenticeship as Chris Robinson was coming to Toronto to do an apprenticeship at Lily Viola's studio. And Lily was just like, okay, well, you have a black man who was not a dancer, who was an athlete, who was teaching Pilates. So like it will resonate with you because it won't be like you're looking at some guy who does the splits all day doing Pilates because you can't do the splits. So that's not for you. It was like a guy who trained, he was a kickboxing champion, he does Muay Thai, he ran track, he did all these different things. So that's me. So I'm now seeing myself in a higher level learning of Pilates. And I just dove deep at that point with it. Um, and then created also like started to run with the handle Real Men Do Pilates
Mhm.
because I wanted to challenge men to think about other ways to train their bodies and to have the courage to dive into a different modality and recognize that Pilates can be a missing link. So if you're doing squats and deadlifts all day, you're going to stay strong in your strong areas and you're going to stay weak in your weak areas. And
Mhm.
Pilates is going to expose those muscle imbalances and it's going to just challenge you in a different way. So have the courage to challenge your body in a different way and see how you can get stronger. So I just run with that message that this is something that can be a game changer for men. And as much as I love training everybody and I
Mhm.
will welcome everyone to my doors, I chase after men because I know that's a different mindset when it comes to movement.
Mhm.
And I just want them to experience it and realize how this can be a game changer for them. So
I think that's awesome. I
yeah.
like that. I like these stories. You said 2002. I was just having my first child. So I'm
2002.
like, oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Same with me actually.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
I was it in your body? I'm not so sure about that.
My guys are 19 and 15, so same age
Okay.
gap, two boys. So
Okay.
yes. Yeah, so that's it. So I mean, so that's why I'm so passionate about it. So I respect your passion for all the things that you do because we run parallel and just wanted to just give people that liberation. You recognize that it's not just about losing weight or about
Mhm.
some aesthetic goal. It's like you have them in front of you. You have this captive audience to really dive deep on why they are here.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello. Look, you have friends there. Very nice.
Fit for the call. True, my brother. Thank you. So yeah, so that's I mean, and that's it. So I love what you were saying earlier because I used to say this a lot as a personal trainer. Like someone would come in and say, I have a wedding in 6 weeks and I need to fit in
Mhm.
the wedding dress. And then you start training them and you recognize that they need to work on their posture and then they need to work on their self-esteem and then they need to work on all these different things that just start to bubble up and then you start to address those things and then the wedding comes and goes, they feel good and they stay with you forever because you've actually got them into a new place, right?
Mhm.
And they're
Mhm.
on a new journey and then you start to so yeah, I love that. And I'm sure you're seeing a ton of that with the people that
Yeah, I mean, I really just I'm there to help them connect with themselves.
okay.
If if really and truly like an aesthetic change or body composition change helps them to do that, I don't have a problem with it. As long as they don't start telling people that they're better than them because of it. That's me. I'm just like, your worth and
Right,
your value hasn't increased by
mm-hmm.
shrinking your body size. That's not where I'm at. But
Right,
moving into a more confident, more courageous space,
yes,
um, that that does it for me. That's like gold.
mm-hmm. When I ask people, one of the questions I ask is like, who is your ideal client? Like, who is the person you love to work with the best, the most? And one of my favorite answers I got was somebody who is curious and courageous,
Hmm.
right? It
I'd
wasn't
agree with
like,
that.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, cause it's like, it's not like I want guys to walk in, or I want women to walk in, or I want, it's like someone who's curious about what this can do, and someone who's courageous enough to step into it, right? I thought
Hmm.
I always come back to that. Um, so I'm gonna read this comment. The comments don't come up on the replay,
Oh,
so I'm just
okay.
gonna read it out. So Fit for the Call says, I love what you guys are doing here. I would like to connect with both of you for something I want to do in 2022.
Is that your
Let's
brethren? Who's that?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, he's a brethren now, or
Yes,
she,
he
or they.
is. Or they, yes. Um, so yeah, so that's exactly it. So that that curious and courageous thing is just something I like to lean into a lot, right? And I see that with the people that I work with. Um, Talk more about your brown bag series. Like I've joined in on a few of those. Can you just share a little bit more about the vision of that and what's coming forward for that for next year, if anything?
Um, well, we're gonna be restarting in January. I think January 13th is the date. Is free for all Black and Indigenous fitness instructors. Again, any modality, any experience level. Um, um, really, it came to be through, the events of 2020,
Mhm.
and deep sadness that we um, sometimes don't have the most connection, whether it be networking, business discussions, through our experience as Black and Indigenous fitness professionals,
Yes.
and to hold space, as you mentioned,
Mhm.
for and without judgment for the everyday things where, unfortunately, we frequently gaslit into thinking we're insane. We're not.
Right.
What is happening is not really happening,
Right.
and that has brought an opportunity for us to say, let's open up this space for community to build a network of people who want to see us grow and thrive and more than survive,
Yes.
um, and really just have those conversations. We've had fitness professionals come in and say, what you said, like, I thought I didn't have the right body, or I was already thinking that, I had low experience, or, I don't feel seen, um, as a Black person, or as a large person, or as a smaller person, or a disabled person, in
Right.
these spaces. So what does that really mean to see us through? So just really giving us some place like to hold hands.
Yes.
And then sometimes we get into conversations where someone would be like, Damali, what is that tool you are using to do this thing? So why not?
Yeah.
Let's share a little bit of shop talk in terms of business and how we're growing, and do that again all in a free space,
Yes.
where everyone's welcome to come in, go out, and do what they need to do with that time. So
Yes.
shouts to Fitness for All Bodies,
Yeah.
between Liftoff and Fitness for All Bodies. Justice and I host those conversations, but we share equally of ourselves at that time. You're
Absolutely.
going to see the real. And for those who are curious and courageous enough to come in and share as well. So
Mhm.
as instructors and professionals, we take that same values into that space.
Yes. I actually hold on one second. My headphone's about to die, and I left it on the other
Oh.
side of the room. I can still hear you, but I just
Okay.
have to just walk over and grab this. Um, I liken it to the sense of welcoming and belonging that I felt going into those conversations was special. Um, and we say you're welcome, and I've said this in the past. There's a difference between feeling like you're welcome and feeling like you belong. Like I can welcome you into your house, into my house, and you can walk around. But if you belong in my house, you can walk in, grab something from the fridge, sit down, put your feet on the couch. Like there's a different sense of being in the space when you belong.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went, that's the first time that Justice invited me to that, and I joined it. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna sit back and just observe. I don't want to overstep my bounds. To just kind of just watch and just go with the flow. And it's like, Martin, what do you think? And you're welcomed into the space, and then there's a sense of like, I'm safe to share here, even though it's my first time in, and I rolled in late because I had a client. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was late to the party and still was welcome to share, like I was there. Like, I've been there for weeks. Like, I've been there for months because, in a sense, I have. Like, we're all part of this community. We're all walking together. So it's just this powerful sense of being welcomed, being loved, and feeling like you belong in that room that I felt there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to just share that, because there's times that I felt like when I go back to Jamaica and you walk around, you're like, this is my people.
These are
You
my
know what I'm
people,
saying?
yes.
Right? So that was that same sense of like, these are my people. Like when I got in that room, right? So um that's good. We need that. And there's so many different ways that, and for everyone who's watching, for your people, for your space, if you're passionate about something, when you can create that kind of safe place for people, it's just a powerful thing where we can all grow and level up in that way. So I love that.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that, because that, just validates that we're doing the right thing and the way we approach it. And we are just coming authentically to the table. Um, we really want you to feel like welcome home. You come in, because yes,
Yes.
you're going to meet Justice laughing,
Mm-hmm.
and you might meet Damali crying. It's possible. And laughing, and all of the things that, again, bringing our humanity to the table, and connecting, deeply, is what is important to the both of us, and to me especially. And the same thing that resonates for me as an instructor and as a teacher, I bring that forward with my people
Yeah.
as well. I want them to feel like every time they come in, they are welcomed home, they are here. They immediately should feel belong, but that also means calling in and speaking up for things that might be challenging, those crucial
Mm-hmm.
conversations, to really
Yes.
say, hey, the language that you're using does not create that environment where everyone feels welcome, that they feel like they want to be fully present or most
Yes.
authentic. They're going to hold back because of
Right.
language, because of body language, because of even Justice has shared sometimes certain things in terms of cursing. Some people curse a lot, some people don't. Like, what does that mean when you're
Mm-hmm.
building an environment where people should feel safe?
Well, what does that
Uh,
mean?
exactly. What
Right?
that means is being able to be courageous enough to understand what makes people unsafe outside of yourself.
Yes.
Outside of yourself, because
Right.
here I am again, and I've been in smaller bodies, larger body, whatever. I've also had some very specific encounters in my life which made me disabled in that time. After I ruptured my Achilles, I was non-weight bearing on my right leg for 3 months. Just going
Yep.
into a space and being like, I can't get the door open. I can't carry a bowl of cereal to the table because I'm on my crutches. Like, what is life like when you fully sit in with the discomfort of where I'm not safe?
Yes.
And then taking that in and saying, I want to build a space that now enables people to feel completely, fully authentic and safe in that space. Large body,
Right.
small body, able body, like, disabled body. Like, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Black, Asian. Here we are.
Right. Yes. It's interesting that you say that, because we don't often think about the fact that coming to a welcome or safe or a place of belonging means going through that door of an uncomfortable conversation to get there. Right? Right? So, like, we don't always want to break through that threshold to get there,
Mm-hmm.
but conflict makes relationships richer, right? And that those uncomfortable moments make those relationships richer, when you're willing to listen, when you're willing to just get your ego out of the way, get your pride out of the way, and just listen, and you land a different place on the other side of that.
Yep. Listen and feel.
Yeah.
I mentioned it before. I think like we have to be very aware of when do we disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
When do we think we're just going to be here, just going through the motions and not actually really tap in to feeling what you need to feel? And if in that moment, like if you're angry or if you feel uncomfortable, that's okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Why, and then be curious about it and ask yourself why, and try to, evaluate. That's the unpacking, the unlearning and relearning from a different experience. Those are all the things every day that I think add more connection and depth to our experience, our human experience, and then our experience in training. Because
Yes.
I had one client, like, they just were like really always ticked off with, with their movements, always.
Okay.
Like,
Never
and you thought
satisfied with it.
never, but it's not just, oh, I'm pushing myself. It's just like you are always whipping yourself, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's like just the unconscious, like head movement, the speech, the body language. And I've been in like spaces we were fighting, right? Where you got to get
Yes.
yourself ready, and how you find your zone. And you want to be relentless, but at the same time it's like, when are you going to let yourself be, like,
Mm-hmm.
actually like enjoy this movement and celebrate the fact that you're here in this space,
Yes.
versus it just being never good enough. And
Right.
that to me is diet culture, just walking itself through. We never going to be good
Mm-hmm.
enough. We always need
No.
to be doing something else, because
No
it's
sense
not
of
it's not it's not enough.
no sense of gratitude.
Nothing. No celebration, no sense of gratitude.
I'm just leaving that out there. Yeah.
And these are my faces that I post on my page. Intentionally, I always post my faces because I was told for a lifetime that I had no poker face and that I needed to clean it up. And I'm like, please.
Right. Yes. This is me.
100.
100. Love that. What's happening with your business in Brampton? Like, where do people connect with you? Is it more like just online stuff? Do you have a space that you train people out of, or you're in separate spaces? Like, how do you roll in Brampton?
Yeah, so this is my space. It's actually in my home,
Mm, hey,
which
Kara.
people don't really realize. I have been in my home uh, for the last 3 years. I had thought of having a space before COVID hit, and at that time I was still working in corporate, so it really didn't make sense. I moved a lot of my work online, so you can find me liftoffstrength.ca, of course, on Instagram at damali.fraiser, or at liftoffstrength, or if you're connecting with me through Fitness for All Bodies, for sure, in those spaces. I teach both in person and virtually, and I teach kettlebells for coaches. So that's my Coaches
Cool.
Corner course. I do
Yes.
3 cohorts a year, where my mission there is to expand and diversify the coaching experience by making sure that people of all shapes, sizes, bodies can teach kettlebells well, safely, and teach
Yes.
it in a way that is accessible to all bodies. So that is something that I offer. And then I do a few one-on-one, like, I limit how much I do in terms of one-on-one
Yes.
clients. So if people are interested, I feel like that authentic connection needs to be there, and that people
Mhm.
need to be willing to embrace a lot of the world that I'm in, so I can keep myself safe, because
Yes.
I matter too.
True. People
So
don't say that enough, you know. Like we chase paper, right? We chase money, and
yeah,
we don't say lines like that enough. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. Good for you.
well, I do. I've felt deep sorrow and pain. And I know that I deserve just as much love and care for myself in my business, in my everyday life, in my relationships. And that coaching and student client relationship is pretty deep. You get you
Yes.
right. So
Great.
in that space, I want them to feel as safe and at home as possible. But if
Yes.
I'm creating a space where I don't feel at home, what am I doing?
Right. Right.
That's where we start talking about burnout and people having all these situations, right?
Hmm.
So, come find me if you're interested in kettlebells. Kettlebells, I'm on my kettlebell game a lot. If you're a coach or instructor, and I say like Pilates, yoga, whoever you are, if you love a little strength training and you want to bring some of the kettlebell modality in and you want to be able to interpret that for all bodies, then come check me out at Coach's Corner.
Yes.
That is where I'm doing my thing. And then if you're interested in exploring kettlebell movements, I do have a 12-week program, which is a self-guided program. And then again, I take a few clients and I have some live classes, but I always do small groups as I'm
Yeah.
there. And I totally respect that some folks will feel like I don't want to be on video at this time, with this
Hmm.
online stuff. But if you want coaching, you want me to help you, which I'm here with all my expertise to
Here
do.
comes the rationale. Yes.
I need to see you.
I
I
need to
need to
see
see
you.
you, and you need to see me,
Right.
and I understand follow along. I understand that. But if I be training so hard, how am I gonna help you? So when I'm coaching, I'm coaching. I'm coaching. I'm present here to help you in
Yes.
your movement. It's a little different.
I love all that you're doing. I love it
Thank
all.
you. Thank you.
You got it going on. And you're in Brampton. That's what's up.
Yes, Brampton. So you can see me live here in Brampton, my space, or you could see me online.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
That just went really quick, and I will make this a podcast. I want to repost this and just let people know all the amazing things that you and Coach Justice are doing and all your business. Yeah. Yes. Justice, we're definitely gonna work out. Like, Damali, I'm gonna have you come in. I'll have
I
you
have to, I
do
have to come check
all
it
this stuff.
out. See, yes.
Yes, please. We'll do a meetup for sure.
All
We
right,
got kettlebells in here too, so we can do a trade off and have some fun with that.
friends. See, now I'm at home.
There you go. One last thing too, just as you were saying, like with Justice and the connection that you made there, I didn't know that you've only known each other or like been in this collaboration for under a year, like a year or so. Like it looks like, and just speaking to like even the brown bag series and walking and feeling a sense of belonging and welcoming,
Mhm.
you two look like you belong together. Like you've been doing this for a long time together. You just flow in such a good way.
Well,
So
thank you. I think we're
yeah,
glad, and that's I think just to bring it forward again, to be your most authentic self,
yeah,
to be open. Like that's my brother. If he tells me something like Somali, I've got to hear it, whether it's uncomfortable or not,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that moves things forward a lot faster when you're at that kind of comfort level. And
Yes.
again, we see a lot on social media, on these internet streets,
Hmm.
and not all of it is something you want to keep. But if you do find something or someone that resonates with you, I think it's important to like truly connect,
Truly.
be truly be upfront, and once that moves you forward, then move forward. Keep it going. Don't hold back. Don't be closed. I know it's all small circles, and I got my tight. Well, when there's
Hmm.
a little bit of a like horseshoe, the rainbow idea, like some things
Yes.
will come in and some things need to come out, but those things that go in deeply, like really cherish those things. So thank you, Justice. Appreciate you. And appreciate you, Martin, for having me on here. And again, anyone you want to slide into my DMs, if you're nice, I'll talk to you. Do not send me a video if I don't know you. people be out here doing some strange things. So
There's your public service announcement, and thank you. All right. I'm gonna message you after. Thank you so much for your time, Damali. This has been so rich, like so rich. I'm really looking forward to working with you.
awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Okay,
Thank
bye
you, everybody.
bye.